Torah Garden, speaking the absolute truth. Torah Nation.
Shalom, shalom, Yashar'el and Yahudah, grafted in Gentiles into the body of Mashiach on this pre-Shabbat, sundown to sundown tomorrow, Shabbat. We magnify Yahuah Elohiym because he is the Most High. Hallelujah. There is none other than Yahuah. Listen, he has a son, Yahusha, who deserves praise and worship as well. Actually, he is Yah salvation. And if the truth be told, the Father, the Son, and the Ruach HaKodesh, they all one. Listen, we have the Most High. Hezekiah, songs entitled The Most High. I don't own rights to this music. Yahuah, I give you praise because you are Yahuah of the armies. You are Yahuah Most High. I worship and I magnify you, and I praise and exalt your name because your name is worthy to be exalted. It's worthy to be praised. Yahuah, I pray that you, by the Ruach HaKodesh in me, we would take the reins of my lips and the reins of my tongue and reign. Yahuah, speak from the volume of the book. Declare your word from me as I submit myself as a vessel unto you to be poured out in righteousness to deliver your Basor and your Torah of truth. Yahuah, unimpeded. Yahuah, by your Ruach, in power and in truth. Yahuah, I give you praise. Yahuah, I pray that no one be turned out of the way. That none of my brothers and sisters stumble. That none of them come up lame as a result of me or my liberty. Yahuah, I pray that I walk in this Ruach power and authority and wisdom that you have given me. Yahuah, I praise you. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. Yahuah, I'm in this for Yahushua HaMashiach's witness. I'm in this for the establishment of your kingdom. I am trying to win subjects, those whom you have chosen. Yahuah, I am called to preach this Basora, and I don't do it grudgingly. Yahuah, I preach this Basora with vigor in the army of Yahuah, called, having rank, to serve you and to establish soldiers. Yahuah, in the name of Yahushua, I praise you because these soldiers are non-gender specific. My brothers and my sisters, my Ankis and my Akotis, my elders and my Imas, my Moras and my Mores. Yahuah, in the name of Yahushua Mashiach, allow us to go forth in the power of your word, establishing people in this witness. Yahuah, I pray in the name of Yahushua Mashiach, and I thank you in the name of Yahushua Mashiach. Listen, man of Yah, woman of Yah, I'm excited about you. He is the Most High. I'm more excited about Yahushua Mashiach because without him, there's no connection to Yahuah. Listen, without Yahushua HaMashiach, we just a bunch of people who understand where we are and who we are, but we ain't in the right relationship with Yahuah. We ain't been sanctified. You have to receive the witness in order to be sanctified. We got the Most High. Listen. Hezekiah, Yah, song is entitled Most High. I don't own the rights to this music. Listen, we have the Most High. Man of Yah, woman of Yah, listen. We have the Most High if we have his witness. We ain't got the Most High if we ain't got his witness, y'all. Listen. We robbed and spoiled without the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach and the Most High. Yeah, we robbed and spoiled. We are without hope in the earth, right? But Yahuah, right, who was rich in mercy wherewith he loved us, while we were yet sinners, right, coming into the knowledge of him, right, he provided Yahushua HaMashiach, that method of restoration, that method of being able to turn, that method of being able to be sanctified, that method that makes us able to be justified. Listen, when we were yet in our sin, he sent Yahushua HaMashiach to be the propitiation. He stood before us. He stood between Yaakov and Yahuah. And he did it to establish us in his witness. He did us to make us sons and daughters of Yahuwah. Beloved, now we the sons of Yahuwah, if we've received the witness. If we've received the witness. And it does not yet appear what we shall be, but we know that when he shall appear, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. We will be his. Yeah, that's why I'm in this, right? I'm not in this for form or fashion, right? I'm not in this to secure wealth. I'm not in this to do anything other than to establish men and women for the kingdom of Yahuwah and Elohiym and have my Abba pleased with me and Yahushua Mashiach ever before the Father pleading and interceding on my behalf. Listen. This is what I'm about. This is why I'm in this. This is why I do this. I don't do this for myself. I do this of Yahuwah's kingdom. Yahushua says, I come to do thy will, O Yahuwah. Listen, I come to do thy will, Yahushua, and Yahuwah, in the name of Yahushua. Yahushua, I come to follow through with the word that you have given me by the apostles, by the prophets. I have a record of events that generated emunah, that established me in this witness, and I must preach this witness. I got to teach this witness. That's what this is what I'm in it for. I'm in it to see that the kingdom of Yahuwah be advanced. Woo! Man, I praise Yahuwah for his Ruach HaKodesh. Listen, I praise Yahuwah for his Ruach HaKodesh. I praise Yahuwah for moving in the midst of me. And listen, I praise Yahuwah for the Basora of truth. I praise Yahuwah for those that he has given me in this witness, whom that he has allowed me to be a parent, a father to. Listen, I praise Yahuwah. And I'm going to be interceding for them all today, 24/7. Every time I get an opportunity, I'll be calling their names. But not only their names, I'm calling everybody who's a part of this witness. Right? I don't know you by name, but listen, I declare that by the power and authority of this witness, that I intercede on behalf of those who are in this witness. Listen. We're going to come under attack, yeah? Oh, yeah, we're going to come under attack. You know, I'm received a text from my Aki, Yaakov Ben Zion Gaal. He said, listen, elder. You know, I've been under attack this week. Yeah. Well, you know, think it not strange. It's coming. You done went into the water. You done declared his word by the Ruach HaKodesh. Listen, it's coming. And we must not think it's strange. When the pressure comes, when the trial comes, when the tribulation comes, when the squeezing comes. Because Hasatan is going to squeeze you. He's going to squeeze you, and in his attempt, right, and actually it's Yahuwah squeezing you, because Yahuwah is allowing the pressure to come, because the pressure works. Tribulation works, right? It works patience, right? It also works experience, right? And experience hope, and hope make it not ashamed. Listen, it's necessary. Listen, I got trials, I got tribulations that I'm going through right now, but listen, look it, count it all joy. This joy I have, the world didn't give it to me. This joy I have, the world didn't give it to me. This joy I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, and the world can't take it away. That's one of the old songs. Listen, Yahuwah has given us what we need to get the job done in the Ruach HaKodesh. We have been sanctified amongst the heathen, right? The heathen ain't gonna like it. Listen, you've been baptized, made a public declaration. Listen. Hasatan is mad. He's mad, but it's okay though. Because it all works together for the good of them that are called according to his purpose. Listen, this is experience. This is what Yahuwah uses. He uses pressure. He sends tribulation. And when tribulation comes, and the pressure comes, we need to know, okay, it's time to stop everything and fall down on our knees and pray. Listen, if you're in the midst of a situation that's starting to get hot and look, you say, hold on, I'll be right back. Take a few moments to go get apart and pray. In the Ruach, pray with your understanding and surrender it all to you. Because that's going to work experience. Tribulation works, y'all. It works. Tribulation works. He's got to allow tribulation to come in order to keep you motivated. Tribulation comes to keep you motivated. Somebody says, well, it don't make me motivated. Well, it should make you motivated, because the desired outcome is that through this tribulation, this pressure, you're going to pray more. You're going to fast more. You're going to call on Yahuah more. You're going to declare his word more. And this is going to establish you in this witness. And you're going to mature and grow. But listen, you got to expect it's going to come. Tribulation going to come. And it works. There would have been a time in your life, somebody in my life, and they say, when tribulation works, I'd be like, man, please. But see, now I'm a bearded one, right? And I have it through time experienced, right? And I've understood and drawed the correlation between praying in the Ruach and praying with my understanding when I'm under pressure, when I'm being squeezed. And then I learned and experienced to seek Yahuah in his word and trust him and to get apart and to meditate. Excuse me. I've learned these things, right? And these things that I've learned has propelled me forward, right? Propelled me forward. Right? Because I know what it's going to take. I know what I got to do to make it change. Right? And then I know what I got to do to get what I need to be if it don't change right away. Because tribulation is going to get you to where you need to be in case your situation don't change right away. But tribulation works. Listen, I'm now more inspired than ever to get out with this Basora and to do what Yahuah needs me to do. Listen, I'm more inspired, to go and to do what Yahuah has called me to do. I am so more inspired. Listen, I know that it works. I know Yahuah can do anything and everything to get what needs to be done. Yeah, he can. Listen, we going in, right? We finished the 9th chapter of 1 Corinthians, right? And again, Shaul was talking in reference to the work that he has created and those that Yahuah has brought under his ministry. He is the father, the person that was responsible for them coming to Yahuah, right? And he goes on and talks about how he serves them and how he serves them in Yahuah. He serves them not expecting anything. He's not serving them to get something. He's in this for the witness of Yahushua Mashiach. Listen, I ain't in this for any gain. Right? I ain't in this for Patreon. Listen. I'm not getting on nobody for what they do. I'm not. Because if you would tell me to, I will. But he ain't told me to do that right now. If he told me to, because then I know he would be telling me to do it. But, I'm just going to do what Yahuah tells me to do. And Yahuah's going to open doors. Oh, yeah, he going to make moves. Yahuah's going to make moves. Yeah, I know and sense a move that's about to occur now. He going to make a move. And I'm going to rejoice in this move. He going to make a move. Oh, yeah, Yahuah's going to make a move. Okay, so Shaul at the end, he's like, listen, in everything, I do, with the intent of maintaining the mastery over what I do and how I do it. Having the control, right? The discipline, right? The discipline to know that Yahuah is going to take care of me. The discipline to know that I'm going to wage this warfare. I am going to win the prize because I am going to maintain this discipline, right? I am going to understand that in this tribulation, this thing that works, this pressure, this squeezing, this hardships that come, right? Yahuah is using them to develop me, right? And he's using them to establish me in the mastery over what it is that he wants me to do, right? Because he says in that 9th chapter, the 25th verse, and every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate, right? Temperate. And again, that word temperate means in the Greek.
Strong's G 1467. Ekratuamai.
It is one who is in self-control, right? Continent, not, as opposed to incontinent. Because, you know, when you incontinent, that means you don't have control over your bowels, right? So you are in control if you're continent, right? He says to exhibit self-government conduct as oneself temperately. He says, in a figure, draw from athletes who in preparing themselves for games, right? So the idea is that you're preparing yourself in this witness, right? And developing a sense of discipline, right? In order to be successful, in order to win a prize. Because you're in this race to win, right? Right? You ain't lined up on the blocks waiting for the gun to go off with the expectations of making it in 8th place out of 8 runners. You in it to win. So you have to be disciplined. Now understand, everybody in this race don't run at the same speed. So your race is against yourself, right? It's your mastery, your discipline against yourself. It is you moving, developing a temperance, understanding that in this race, right, you are looking to win. You're looking to win. You got a prize. That prize is an eternal rest. All right, that prize is Shiloh. Right. That prize is the kingdom of Yahuah in the earth. Right? That prize is having access into the kingdom of Yahuah. And all that brings. Yeah, that's what we do this for. He says, and tempered in all things. Now they, right, to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible crown. So if the comparison is to a natural race and a spiritual race, they working hard and disciplining themselves for a medal, for a place of standing in the world arena. You know, they want to hold the world record, right? Or they want to be in the top 10, right? At the end of the day, they want to receive the prize. They want to receive the medal. They want to receive the trophy. And that's natural. See, but we are developing ourselves in this witness by the Ruach HaKodesh in order that we could win Yeshua. Now, you know, we have Yeshua if we receive the witness, but we want to make it to the end. Because it's about he that endures to the end is going to receive the crown. You got to endure to the end. That's why you got to be temperate. That's why you got to maintain discipline. And that's why Yahuah's got to put some tribulation. Because it works. Tribulation works. It works. It works. It works. How you gonna be when tribulation comes? How you gonna be? How you gonna be? I know that it's not proper English. How you gonna be? But how you gonna be when tribulation comes? Is it gonna work? Right? Are you gonna be moved by what you see? Or are you gonna stagger not at the promises of Yahuah through belief? Right? Being fully persuaded. You're not gonna stagger in unbelief. You're gonna recognize, oh, okay, Yahuah is bringing pressure. Hasatan has some authority right now to bring pressure, right? And it requires me to discipline myself. It requires me to take a step back and discipline myself. It requires me to put a hold on everything. I got to get away and pray. I got to get away and fast. I got to get away and seek the Most High. I got to get away. I got to get on my knees and I got to pray. Woo! And then watch Yahuah. He said, oh yeah, he learning. Hasatan said, well, I'm going to turn it up a little bit. Let me turn it up a little bit more and he going to deny you. Then the pressure comes a little bit harder, squeezes a little bit deeper, but then, you're like, okay, Yahuah, I'm still holding on. I'm still staggering not. I'm believing. I'm standing on the same thing the patriarch stood on. I'm standing on the same thing that Yahushua stood on. I'm believing your word. I'm convinced. Yeah. And I'm going to pray. And I'm going to fast. And I'm going to seek your face. And I'm going to seek your word. I'm going to seek your truth. Right. And then watch the rumbling. From the Shabbaim. Watch you deploy angels. Watch you manifest blessings and increase. But see, you had to establish yourself in this discipline. You had to understand that this tribulation works. Yeah, you had to. So Shaul says, listen, we run because we look to accomplish a crown. It's not corruptible. Not silver and gold. Right? Yahushua Mashiach provided us a Yeshua with his own body. Right? Brought us into a relationship, gave us a Ruach HaKodesh to establish us, to give us what we need to get the job done. It's the earnest of our inheritance, and we got this on the inside. Yahuah is tabernacling in us. Listen, I'm in pursuit of an incorruptible crown. You can have all this stuff. You can have all this stuff, right? There's things that I need just to do what I need to do in ministry, but you can have all this stuff. Listen, I ain't trying to be no multimillionaire so that I can have a 10-bedroom house. When all I need is a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, kitchen and living room, because it's just going to keep me out of the elements. And then I just need to be focused on what I need to do, where I got to go. I don't need all this extraneous, all this other stuff, right, that men pursue. And the pursuit of wealth, the pursuit of money, the pursuit of prestige, the pursuit of notoriety. I can have all that garbage. I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want that. So you say, oh yeah, so you telling me you wouldn't take $1 million? Yeah, I take $1 million. Take $1 million, right? And it's going to go into the establishment of Yahuwah's kingdom. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's going to reach Bruise, right? And it's going to take Bruise wherever they need to go in Yahuwah. Y'all don't hear me. He says, I therefore so run not as uncertainly, so I fight not as one beating the air. Listen, I don't do this haphazardly. I don't do this without the intentions of knowing what I'm doing. I don't do this haphazardly. Listen, I know what this requires. It requires a discipline. It requires a discipline. And because it requires that discipline, I have to comply. I got to do this in order to be successful, in order to win the prize, in order to receive the crown. He says, but I keep my body under subjection. Listen, I do this. Right? And tribulation assists me in this. Tribulation assists me because it works. Because it works. Right? It helps me. I use tribulation, prayer, and in fasting, singing in the Ruach, praying in the Ruach, fasting and meditating on the word of Yahuah. I do these things in order to keep my body under discipline. Because if you don't do it, you're going to become one of those who finds themselves a castaway. Because you're not going to stand. You're not going to endure to the end. Yep. Okay, let's go. 1 Corinthians, the 10th chapter, the first verse. He continues, he says, moreover, brethren, I would not that ye should be ignorant how that all our fathers were under the cloud and all passed through the sea. Right? That's what our fathers did, right? Under the leadership of Mosheh, right? They departed Mitzrayim. They were being pursued by Pharaoh and his army, right? And there came a point where they reached the end of the road, the Red Sea. And Yahuah used that experience to baptize them. Okay. You got to understand this, right? He says, and all passed through the sea. Everyone passed through the sea. And all were baptized. They were all baptized. Okay, so let's look at this word baptism again. You know, it's just the same strong word. Baptiste.
Strong's G 907. Baptizo. Baptizo.
They were all submerged. That word is to dip repeatedly, to immerse or submerge one's vessel, to cleanse by dripping or submerging, to wash, to make clean. They all, were baptized. They were all baptized. They all experienced the water as they passed through the sea. Now, you know, listen. You know, the waves rolled up. But, you know, Yahuah's going to use that experience, right? Right? You know they got wet. Come on, y'all. You know they got wet. Yahuah baptized them. They had to be washed. They baptized. Listen. This is under Mosheh's covenant, man. You got to understand this. They were all baptized. He says they were all baptized unto Mosheh in the cloud and in the sea. So they all experienced the baptism, right? The washing, right? In Ezekiel, and this is after, right? This Ezekiel's occurred after, which is Yahuah's letting you know, right, what's going to happen. Again, in Mashiach. He says, listen. He says, and I will sprinkle clean water upon you. Ezekiel 36:25. And you shall be cleansed. Right? From all your filthiness. Right? From your idols will I cleanse you. Now, this is what Yahuah did when our forefathers crossed through the Red Sea. Listen, they got wet. They didn't get drowned. They were delivered. They got wet. Oh, yeah. Yahuah took that opportunity. Baptized. He says, Shaul says, and we're all baptized, submerged, sprinkled with water unto Mosheh in the clouds and in the sea. And they did eat the same spiritual meat. Right? Manna. What is this? They ate quail. Fell from the sky. They ate the loaves. That little bread Yahuah provided. He baptized them. And he gave them spiritual food to sustain them. But yet they murmured and complained and would not obey. He baptized them. Gave them food. Heavenly food. Spiritual meat. Right? Spiritual meat. From the Shamayim. He sent it now. And did all drink the same spiritual drink. Complaining to Mosheh. Mosheh, did you bring us out here to die of thirst? Yahuah allowed a rock to bring forth, to gush forth water. A rock. A solid rock to bring forth water. Types and shadows, shadows and types. Right? Now, he says, and they drank of that spiritual rock, right, that followed them. They always had food or water from the rock. So they followed them. Right? And Shaul says, and that rock was Mashiach. That rock was Hamashiach. That rock that provided living water, right, was Hamashiach. Hamashiach said, he says to the woman at the well, if you drink, you're going to thirst from this well. But if you receive what I have in the Father, it will satisfy you unto everlasting life. It's water. You said, I am the water. Yahusha. He that drinks of me shall never thirst. Under Mosheh, those were all types and figures of Hamashiach. It was a type and a figure of Hamashiach. Yahusha said that you must be born again of the water and of the Ruach HaKodesh. Right? Yahusha is that water. Right? Right? Yahusha was. Now, under Mosheh, there were all types of what Yahusha was. Yahusha was that water that you would, once you had it, you would never thirst again. That living water. He says, and that rock was a Mashiach, but with many of them, Elohiym was not well pleased, for they were overthrown in the wilderness. because they complained. Yahuwah wasn't pleased with them. Yahuwah was not pleased with them because all they did was complain. And they had a living example, living demonstrations of Yahuwah's sovereignness over everything. But he complained. He wasn't pleased with them. He wasn't pleased with them. He destroyed them in the wilderness. They didn't enter into his rest because they didn't learn the mastery. They didn't learn temperance. They didn't learn discipline, right? But what they were they did not keep their bodies under subjection, right? And as a result, they were castaways in the wilderness. They didn't obey Yahuwah's word. They didn't obey what Mosheh said. It's better to obey than be a castaway. It's better to obey than to be a castaway. It's better to obey than to be a castaway. It's better to obey than to be a castaway. Listen, it's better to obey than to be a castaway. Listen, right? So, they did not learn temperance. They had 40 years in the wilderness to get it together, but they didn't. So Yahuwah just allowed that generation to die off because they couldn't get it together. Right? Now, he says, they were overthrown in the wilderness. He says, now these things were our examples. We need to take this recorded, written experience, this oral word of Yahuwah, right? We need to take it as an example, right? To the intent we should not lust after evil things as they also lusted. See, if you're not careful after having received the witness of Yahushua Mashiach and the Ruach HaKodesh, if you don't learn temperance, and if you don't gain the mastery over your body, right? If you don't take Yahuwah's tribulation and allow tribulation to work, if you don't become spiritually disciplined, right? You don't become spiritually disciplined, then your nature, your flesh, right, will make you a castaway. You'll begin to lust after evil things that you have been once delivered from, because you have not disciplined yourself in spiritual maturity in order to establish you to have the mastery, the control over your flesh, over your mind, right? He says, neither be ye idolaters, as were some of them, As is written, the people sat down and eat and drank and rose up to play. He's referencing the time when Mosheh went up to the mountain to get a word from Yahuah. And, the people hadn't heard from Mosheh over in 30 days, and they were starting to get restless. So they went to Iran, after they had passed under the water of the Red Sea and been baptized, right? Already, right? Now, right? They ain't heard from Mosheh, right? And instead of disciplining themselves and, focusing on the goodness of Yahuah and how he delivered them and reflecting on what their forefathers had went through and the word that was spoken by the patriarchs to their children, right? I'm not going over the things that, that would naturally cause you to continue until Mosheh get back. They didn't do that. They told Iran, look, we ain't heard from Mosheh in 30 days. He's been up on that mountain. We need an idol. We need an idol. We need you to make us a calf. Iran, being the sin-conscious high priest he was. Him having the sin consciousness, right, that he had. He said, okay, give me all your jewels. Give me all the gold and I'll fashion you a calf. And he did. And they went to worship him. They sat down and sacrificed, ate the meal, and then got up and danced around buck naked and began to commit whoredom. Yahuah said, look, man, you need to go down because your people, they ain't doing right. And I'm thinking about wiping them out and starting a nation from you. Mosheh said, don't do that. You don't do that. Because then the people going to say, listen, you delivered them, but you couldn't keep them delivered. You go down there, you deal with it. Yeah. So Mosheh came down. He said, listen, what is this have you done? Aaron, what did you do? He said, look, Mosheh, you weren't here. These people started to get rowdy. And they wanted and I just made them one. He said, well, get all the Levites together. He said, listen, who's on the Lord's side? We are. They came on that side. He said, listen, now, what I want you to do, we're going to tell the people who are on Yahuah's side. Everybody's on Yahuah's side going to come over here. Whoever ain't, guess what? We're going to go out. You're going to go out there and kill them all. Because they rose up to play. That's what Shaul was talking about. They became idolaters. They had passed through the sea, had experienced Yahuah's baptism, his cleansing, right? Now they were tarrying and waiting for Yahuah's Mosheh to come back down from the mountain because he went up, right? He was there for like 30 days. Ain't seen him. Ain't heard from him. It says here, neither let us commit fornication. That's what they did. When they rose up to play, that Greek word,
Strong's G 3815, paidzo,
right? To play like a child, to play sporty, jesting, to give to hilarity by joking and dancing, right? But that word, what's the etymology of that word? Okay. So, paist, and it means a child or a boy or girl, infant child. All right, so they played. And then Shaul tells you in the next verse what that play led to, right? He says, neither let us commit fornication as some of them committed, as they got up to play. Dancing around butt naked. What you gonna do? Right? Right? As some of them committed and fell in one day 3,000 and 3 and 20,000. 3 and 20,000. It's a lot of people. Fell at the edge of the sword. At the edge of the sword. They fell dead, but they was killed with the edge of the sword. To be thrusted down, fell. To be removed, to be forced, they were destroyed. He said they fell, right? He said they fell in one day. 3 and 20,000. 3,020, I think that's what it is, right? Neither let us tempt Mashiach. Don't provoke Mashiach. As some of them also tempted and were destroyed of serpents. Complaining. So Yahuah sent serpents to bite them. And in order for them to be delivered, he had to take that one of them same serpents and put it on a snake. And everybody who looked upon that snake that was lifted up, right, they would be healed. But those who didn't died. He says, neither let us tempt Mashiach as some of them did also tempt and were destroyed of serpents, right? Neither murmur ye as some of them also murmured and were destroyed of the destroyer. Listen, Shaul is helping you. That in this witness, having received the Ruach HaKodesh, right, you have to be temperate. You have to learn discipline. You have to make sure that you're doing everything you can do to get the job done, because he's giving it to you. He's giving you the earnest of your inheritance. He's giving you his Ruach HaKodesh, right? Yeah, you're going to have to fight, right? Because, listen, you got to deal with your mind. And dealing with your mind, you deal with your body, right? If you can master by the word of Yahuah, by fasting and praying, right? By dealing in the things of Yahuah, right? Meditation, right? You can transform your mind, right? And in the transformation of your mind, your body, which is Yahuah's temple, is going to be in line, right? But you got to understand that Yahuah's going to send tribulation. Tribulation's going to work. You got to understand you're going to experience some things, right? These things are designed to give you experience. Listen, Yahushua had to learn obedience to the things that he suffered, right? Yahushua was tried and tempted, just like we were. Yet without sin, he made up his mind that he was going to do the will of Yahuah. You know, he had all power to Shamaim in the earth, and we only have a measure, right? But that measure is all we need to get the job done. See, with that measure, we got enough to keep ourselves in a place of righteousness before Yahuah, in which he'll cause us, by obedience, to endure to the end. Neither let us tempt Mashiach, as some of them also tempted and were destroyed by serpents. Neither murmur ye. What does it mean to murmur? Right. That word in the Greek.
Strong's G 1111. Gagudzo.
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 To murmur, to mutter, to grumble, to say anything against in a low tone, of the cooing of doves, right? It is those who discontentedly complain. Don't complain against Yahushua. Don't complain to Yahuwah. Don't go complaining to your brothers and your sisters. That's why he got you under pressure. That's why you are under pressure. Excuse me. All up in my eye. That's why you're under pressure. Right? Because you're murmuring. Okay, you was going to send tribulation. Tribulation's going to come. It's going to discipline you. Get you right. It's going to get you right. Right? He says, now all these things happen unto them for an example, right? And they are written for our admonition. So they were recorded in writing so that we can go to it and reflect on it, right? For our admonition, right? That Greek word is
Strong's G 3559. Nuthesia.
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 Admonition is exhortation. It was there for us to experience exhortation. We can look at that and be exhorted to do better. Right? He wants you to do better than they did. He said, listen, now all these things happened unto them for an example. Example to who? To them and to us. Right? And they are written for our admonition, upon whom the end of the worlds are come. See, this stuff is written for our admonition because it's the end of the world. See, and the thing is that it had begun once Yahushua HaMashiach came and established his dominion in the earth. The world as we know it was coming to an end. That's why Yahuwah sent Yahushua. Okay. Wherefore let him that thinketh he standeth take heed lest he fall. Right? It goes back to Shaul saying, listen, don't get puffed up. Don't get puffed up. Don't get into a place where you think you're okay. And you don't fast. You don't pray. You don't set aside time to meditate on Yahuwah's word. Don't you allow yourself to get away from it, because you're going to think you standing, but you're going to fall. There haveth no temptation that temptation taking you, but such is common to man. Everything that you get tempted by, everybody gets tempted by. But Elohiym is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above what you are able. Yahuwah's faithful. And he know when your temptation is getting too heavy for you. Right? He's going to put some pressure on you. You're going to send some tribulation. He'll squeeze you to help you to reestablish your perspective. He's going to make you get on your knees. He's going to make you pray. He's going to make you fast. He's going to make you pray in the Ruach and to pray in your understanding. He's going to make you do it because it works. Yeah, that's why he ain't going to allow you to go through more. Right? But will with the temptation also make a way of escape. He's going to give you an out. He'll give you an out. He see it. He'll give you an out. Give you an out. You know, you that young Ak, right? Aki. Growing in the word, right? And all of a sudden one of them boos that you had back in the day catches an eye on you on Facebook. Oh, see a little message. Ooh, you looking good, such and such and such, man. You said, yeah, you know, yeah, thank you, you know. What you been doing? You know, I've been taking care of myself, you know. I could tell, you could tell. I ain't mentioned you yet. Yeah, you looking good. So I see you, you know, I see you, you know. I noticed you on your profile, you still single. Yeah, you remember them times we used to have? You like, yeah, I remember. Yeah. You know, we ought to get together. We ought to get together. Well, you know, I be busy, girl. Listen, I be busy. You know, I be doing things. You know, I ain't told nothing about Yahuah and your assembly and House of Town is coming with that temptation, boy. Listen, coming. And you like, yeah, no. Shit, well, let's come on, let's get together. You know, what you doing? What you doing tomorrow? Oh, I got a few things I need to do. Well, I'm gonna be over at such and such. You remember where that is? Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I'm gonna be over there probably around 1 o'clock, 1:30. Why don't you come on through? I'm gonna be looking for you. Come on through. Yeah, well, you know, I'll think about it. No, don't think about it. Come through. You know, you remember me. Come through. Yeah, all right, okay. So now you know that's the temptation. You didn't handle it effectively because you ain't talked about Yahuah. You ain't talked about receiving the witness of Mashiach. You ain't talked to him about having your Ruach HaKodesh and how it's changed your life. You know, because you would have talked all of that. She would have pumped the brakes real quick. But you know what? In your flesh, because you ain't been disciplining yourself, right? You know, your mind is starting to work, and now you know your mind is kicking the body in, you know, and you starting to remember and reflect on how good that was. The devil knows your number, right? So, you know, tomorrow come. You know, Aki calls you in the daytime. He says, yo, what you doing? Nothing, man. Listen, I need you to slide with me. You want to slide with me today? Aki, man, I got something I need to do. Oh, you sure you can't come? Yeah, man, I got something I need to do. You know, I gotta work something out. Okay. Well, listen, man. If it changed, let me know. All right, Aki, I'll let you know. All right, man. Shalom. Shalom, Ak. You in the car, right? Getting it. You know, you were talking to you all the time. So, look, man, what you doing? 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 You know. Well, you get to the spot where she at. And you see her. Right? And you said to yourself, man, she looking good. I remember that. Yeah, so you get up out the car. You know, you ain't got your fringes on. You got your Chicago Bulls jersey. You ain't got your head wrap. You got nothing, right? And then you there, you know, you see her and she roll up, running out to you like that, you know, boom. To your left is the Ima. You see old girl running up to you. She be like, Aki, how you doing? What you doing, Aki? Now you messed up now, right? Because you found out, you know. Mama know that girl. She know what she was about. She got wonder why you rolling up. Mess. All because you didn't discipline yourself. All because you didn't discipline yourself. Because you didn't take the necessary steps to put your mind in the proper place through prayer and fasting and meditation. Right? Getting with them ox. You ride with your Aki, man. Y'all gonna talk about the Masor and the Torah most of the time. So you get in the word, you strengthening one another. He give you a way of escape. And you know, when you seen Ema, you know it was definitely game change. Because there was something about that Ema that you knew you had to do right. Yeah. Your way of escape was made. That you were able to bear it. Verse 14 in the 10th chapter. Wherefore, my dearly beloved, flee idolatry. Right? Come on, you know everything that has to do with idolatry. Flee. Yeah, flee them football games, them basketball games. Flee all those sporting things, events, and all of that stuff because it's idolatry. I know some of y'all don't like it. Some of y'all elders don't like it. I don't care. It's idolatry. Making excuses. He said, flee it. Get away from it. He says, I speak as to wise men. Judge ye what I say. I'm speaking to you, wise men. Judge what I say. Judge what I say. Right? He says, the cup of blessing which we bless, is it not the communion? Right? Of the blood? Right? Of Mashiach, excuse me. And the bread which we break, is it not the communion of the body of Mashiach? Right? Now, Shaul is talking about a time in which we gather, right? A time in which we drink wine, right? Which is the blood, a type of the blood of Mashiach. And when we break bread, right? Unleavened bread, right? And when we share in this unleavened bread in a remembrance of Mashiach, right? See, because in Hamashiach is this righteousness established. This unleavenedness is established. In this blood is the purging and the forgiveness of our sins, right? He says, for we being many are one bread, one body, for we are all partakers of that one bread. We who have received the witness of Yeshua Mashiach are one body. And we all partake of that same bread. We all have to receive Yahushua's sacrifice. We all have to receive the Lamb of Yahuah that taketh away the sins of the world. We have to receive his unleavened sacrifice. We have to consume it. Right? We have to make it a part of us. Right? He says, for we, many of us that are in the witness, right? Hebrew, non-Hebrew alike, right? Many. We are all one bread. We are all one of the same body, Hamashiach, right? For we are all partakers of that one body, that bread, Hamashiach, right? Behold, Yashar'el after the flesh, are not they which eat of the sacrifices partakers of the idols, of the altar? He said, so listen, behold, Yashar'el after the flesh, talking about the flesh, right? We who are Hebrews, right? Are not they which eat of the sacrifices partakers of the altar? Which means that, okay, so those who take and eat of the sacrifices are the priests, are the Levites. They have a portion of that which is sacrificed, right? They partake in, right? They partake in that sacrifice of the altar. He says, what say I then? That the idols is anything? Is an idol anything? No. Right? Right? Or that which is offered or sacrificed to idols anything? No. Right? Nothing. But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils. Right? And not to Yahuah. Right? So they sacrifice to devils. Demons. Right? That stone's motivation is a devil. Christmas is a devil. Estar is a devil. But I say then, that things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils and not to Yahuah. And I would not that ye should have fellowship with devils. Don't fellowship with them. Don't fellowship with the Gentiles, because they sacrifice to devils. Right? Now he's talking about Hebrews and Gentiles that are established in the witness, right? Don't go fellowshipping with these idol worshipers. You know, when I was listening to the testimony of Hezekiah, Hezekiah said, you know what, he knew that he had to consecrate himself, right? And he had to physically break away from people that were his friends, because they walked that walk. Right? He had to, he couldn't hang out with them no more. He couldn't fellowship with them because they sacrificed to idols. Right? They idol worshipers. They devils. They're idol worshipers. They worship devils. Right? They don't worship the true Yahuah. That's why Paul said, listen, that ye should have, not that ye should have fellowship with devils. Right? He says, ye cannot drink the cup of Yahuah and the cup of devils. Ye cannot be partakers of Yahuwah's tables and of the tables of devils. Right? So, you can't eat at a place. Right? You can't participate in. Right? With people who sit down and eat at the sacrifice of devils and fellowship. You can't sit down at the table and eat with these devils, with fellowship with people who are sacrificing to devils. Now that's different from you. Shaul saying, listen, you know, an idol is nothing to me. If I take the meat, take it home and cook it and eat it, it's meat. The idol has no purpose for me. I'm going to cook it. There ain't going to be no blood in it. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm going to eat it. He said, but listen, I ain't going to sit down at the table with these Gentiles who's just sacrificed to idols and eat in the same place with them. I ain't doing that. He said they fellowship with devils. He said, you cannot drink the cup of Yahuah and the cup of devils. Can't do it. Right? Because when they go in there, they go in to worship and eat. When we go into commune in the Yahuah supper, that's to the remembrance of Mashiach. We don't go up into their houses and their temples and sit down and eat and chew the fat with them and fellowship with them. And, you know, the goddess Diana was just offered up, and now we eat in porterhouses with them after they had just sacrificed and fellowship it. No, you can't do that. You can't do that. Can't do that. Can't do that. You can't eat at the table of Yahuah, Yahusha, his blood, atonement, his body, his bread, right? You can't sit down and eat a Pesach, right? And then go around and go sit down and eat a Diana Fest meal. Can't do it, right? He says, listen. He says, do we provoke Yahuah, Adonai, to jealousy? Are we stronger than her? Listen. We stronger than he? We can't provoke Yahuah. He says, do we provoke Adonai to jealousy? Not me. No, you ain't gonna sit. Nope. I don't do it. Nope. Now, and the thing is during this time, there were places that were set up and established for sacrificial offerings and fellowship and eating of that sacrificed meat in that temple or in that establishment, right, amongst these devil-worshiping people. We don't do that. Just don't think I'm going to go up in the house like that and know what Yahuwah has done for me. I ain't going to make Yahuwah jealous. Not over nothing like that. Oh, no. No, not me. I ain't that one, right? I ain't that one. He says so, right? Paul says, all things are lawful for me, but all things aren't expedient. Yeah, I can eat the meat, but it ain't expedient me to do it. I got to take into account of my brother, and then I got to take into account of whether or not that whole thing that I do is going to provoke Yahuwah to jealousy. I ain't got time for either one of them. I'm going to keep myself in a situation where I'm temperate, right? Then I have the mastery over my flesh. I am moving in wisdom and discernment, right? I have a sense of spiritual discipline, and I understand what is expedient and what isn't. No, it ain't expedient, right? All things are lawful for me, but all things are not edifying. There's some things that just don't edify. What's that word edify mean? Let's look at edify. Edify, the Greek word.
Strong's G 3618. Akadameo.
Right? It is to build a house, erect a building, to build, to restore. Everything does not build on me, right? It does not cause me to develop, right? It does not aid in the repair of my foundation, right? It does not support me or promote my growth, right? And that being the case, right, I don't want nothing to do with it. See, it doesn't support my growth, and it doesn't support the brother's growth that's weaker than me, the sister that's weaker than me, because I got to walk in love. And just because I can eat meat that's offered to an idol, and I ain't going to sit down there and eat, like a communion thing. Oh, no, I may get my meat and go. But I ain't even do that if my brother see me. He'd be like, yo, man, what you doing in there? No, man, I'm just getting some steaks. Man, but that meat was offered to idols. You ain't supposed to eat that. Listen, man, forgive me. Forgive me. I understand. Understand. Throw it away. Because that's the love of the brethren. That's what you do. Brother be like, man, don't wear them steaks. Hide them. Let the brother leave. You full of hell. You ain't walking in love. He says, let no man seek his own, but every man's. He said, let no man seek his own, but every man's another. And they added wealth. What does wealth got to do with it? Right? Let not one man seek his own desires to be satisfied. Let him seek others or another. Right? He says, whosoever is sold, he says, whatsoever is sold in the shambles, eat, asking no questions for conscience sake. So the shambles, I don't know, that must be like the golden arches. Let's see what that is.
Strong's G 3111. Makilan.
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 It was the place where meat and other articles of foods were sold. It was a meat market, right? Right? So when you go into the meat market, right, you don't ask them, hey, I like them porterhouses, but were those porterhouses offered up to idols? No. You go in, you see the porterhouses, because they porterhouses. You gonna get the porterhouses, have them wrap them up, and take them home. He said, whatsoever is sold in the markets, eat, asking no questions, right, for conscience sake, because you know what an idol is. Kadar, go lay down and be quiet. Right? You know what an idol is, right? You know. See what you know what it is, and you know if it's going to affect your conscience, it ain't going to affect my consciousness. But if it's going to affect your consciousness, then don't do it, right? Don't do it. He says, for the earth is Yahuah's and the fulness thereof. And if any of them that believe not bid you to a feast, and you be disposed to go, whatsoever is set before you, eat, asking no questions for conscience sake, right? Now, Paul said, listen, if somebody invites you over to eat, right, for a feast, or for a meal, or whatever, when you go there to eat, of course, if they got pork on the table, it's pork, you ain't touching pork. But there's meat there, right? Hey, we having a gathering. Why don't you come over and have something to eat, Paul? Yeah, okay, I'll come over. They Gentiles. I come. So he come. He said down to eat. You want some of this meat? Yeah, give me some of the meat. You eat it. Don't ask them where they get the meat from. See, it's all about consciousness. Yahushua's removed sin consciousness from you. He's established you in the witness. He's purged your consciousness, right? So these things really don't matter to you. An idol don't matter to you. Meat that's offered to an idol don't matter to you, right? But that's why you got to be concerned about your brother, because your brother came out of idolatry. He can't see you eat meat that was offered to idols. You got to be considerate of that, brother. You got some Gentiles that are going to invite you over. Hey, come on over to eat. Yeah, okay, I'm going to eat. Yeah. No. You sit down and eat. Right? Now, they barbecuing ribs. And the ribs is pork ribs. Come on, man. You ain't eating no pork. But if they got some brisket on the grill, you can eat the brisket. Or the chicken. Or the hamburgers. He said, whatsoever is set before you, eat, asking no questions for conscience sake. So just eat it. Eat it. Right? He says, but if any man say unto you that this is offered as a sacrifice to idols, eat it not for the sake that show it. Right? Because, you know, they knew it was offered to idols. And they trying to give it to you, but they knew what you stood for. They want to see if you going to eat it. Don't eat it. Right? He says, but if any man say unto you, this is offered to offered in sacrifice to idols, eat not for his sake that shewed it, and for conscience sake, for he that eateth is of Elohiym, Adonai, and is filled thereof. Right? So everything we do for the reason, we do it for reason. He said, conscience, I say, not thine own, but of another. Because, you know, you ain't got a problem with it, but somebody else may. For why is my liberty judged of another man's conscience? He says, for if I by grace be a partaker, why am I evil spoken of for that which is I give thanks? For that which I give thanks. I give thanks for it. Right? Why am I evil spoken of? Right? Whether therefore ye eat or drink or whatever you do, do all to the glory of Yahuah Elohiym. Yeah, because idol ain't nothing to me, y'all. Drinking wine ain't nothing to me. Certain things just ain't nothing to me. But I'm not going to do them if it causes my brother to stumble. Yeah, I got to care about my brother. I got to care about what he sees me do. Not because it's a sin to me, but because it causes him to be offended. His conscience messed up. Now he going to go off on the deep end to the left, right? And without no real discipline, because he knew in the witness, he going to go off back into eating pork ribs. Yahuwah's good. He says, listen. He says, give no offense neither to the Jews, nor unto the Gentiles, nor to the assemblies of Elohiym. Don't offend any of them. Right? He says, even as I please all men in all things, not seeking my own profit, but of many, that they may be saved. So Yahuwah is saying at the end of the day, I'm seeking that everybody is established in this witness. Everything I do reflects that. Down to my decisions of what I eat and what I choose not to eat. Down to my decisions on what is offensive and what isn't. I'm going to do everything to the glory of Yahuwah because he's called me. I'm enlisted in his army. I'm not into provoking Yahuwah to jealousy. And I'm not into making Yahuwah angry because I don't cause my brother to stumble. I ain't doing it, right? I'm going to do that which pleases Yahuwah. I'm going to do that which causes Yahuwah to receive glory. I ain't going to be making mistakes like that. I got a management. I'm managing my walk. I'm disciplining myself. Right? And he's showing you in this text what you need to do and how you need to be aware. So, man of Yah, woman of Yah, that's the 10th chapter and the entire 33 verses. And, you know, the last few I kind of got through pretty quick. But, you know, again, you know, it's whatever Yahuwah gives you, and that's what you get, and you receive it, and you run with it. Yahuwah, I give you praise for your word. I thank you for the pre-Shabbat. I give you praise. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, I give you praise. I give you praise for the witness of the Ruach HaKodesh and the witness of the Basor and the Torah of truth. I give you praise. I pray that the words that I speak would be spirit and life to those who have an ear to hear. Yahuwah, that it will cause them to grow, to be strengthened and nourished up in this word. Yahuwah, I am here to preach this Basora, to teach this word by your Ruach HaKodesh. I stand here knowing nothing save Yahushua HaMashiach and him crucified. And that which you have called me to as to witness to, pertaining to the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach. I give you praise. Yahuwah, let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable to thy sight. Cause your people to be established in this truth. And I thank you. In the name of Yahushua Mashiach, I pray. Man of Yah, one of Yah, that's it. That's all I got this day. I pray that Yahuwah's word has been a lamp to your feet and a light to your pathway. That in it you have established yourself in emunah. And that you allow this word to bring life to you and peace. And with that I say, Shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shalom. Shabbat shalom. Be blessed. Hallelujah. Be blessed.
Torah Garden, speaking the absolute truth. Torah Nation.